We're actually live now. Hi,
Oh,
everyone. Welcome
hey.
to True Tone episode 23. Today is
25.
January 15th. It is a Saturday. And we already have some people in the chat, but I'm sure they're not here anymore. Michael Peppertep,
We
good
had
evening.
correction. We had some people in the chat.
We had some people in there, and Mr. Mario, I like the shrug. The shrug emoji is our mood right
Hey,
now.
we got Drew in the chat.
Oh, we got Drew up in here. Oh, wait.
Drew, we got Mr. Drew Lips. Hey, Drew, come on live and on air with us.
Yes. All right, we got Yuri Tech.
Please.
Hey, and we got Justin. How's it going? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of True Tone. So, we really don't have any set topic for today, so we're just gonna kind of wing it, and not LG wing it because that would fail, wouldn't it? But that was a terrible pun. Excuse me. No, Michael, not giving you control of this ever again.
Babe, wake up! A new True Tone stream.
Bro, can you imagine?
Like, if only we were that popular,
right?
That good.
Consistency is not one of our strong suits.
You know what? No. I did have a friend that did watch our streams after the fact because she lives in Arizona, so we're streaming right when she's like eating dinner. And so she can't watch live, but she did watch our streams like every time after she would watch the replay.
T-bone steak.
Oh yeah, so we're a little bit late. It's 9 o'clock Eastern right now, so sorry. But we're gonna blame Michael for this because he was eating a T-bone. But I'm impressed. It took him less than 20 minutes to eat that whole T-bone.
It did. I am in severe pain now, but it's fine. You know, it's all worth it for the stream that we do.
Physical damage. Ate a cow.
Michael's gonna have the meat sweats in like 2 minutes.
The meat sweats. I have not had that before. So
oh yeah.
Might just be a.
You haven't had meat until you've had the meat sweats.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. It's like the initiation.
There's a specific place you go to get the meat sweats, and it's Golden Corral. So go there.
What the fuck is Golden Corral?
Oh, yeah. See,
you don't know Golden Corral?
No. What's that? Huh?
What? It's a buffet. What's up, Miles? How are you doing, man?
That looks way better. You guys, I fixed it. I fixed the clown issue.
Oh, okay. So Adam's been messing around with his colors and stuff here.
I still got the screenshot.
All right. So, poor T-Bone, Clifford, and Cleo are going to miss their friend.
Who's that?
I don't know.
What's the reference?
I need an explanation of that. So,
Clifford, the big red dog.
Yeah. So the only person in this stream that's actually been actively doing videos is Drew over yonder here. Drew, if you guys haven't seen some of his videos, he did one on the brand new Oppo Find N, which I'm sure he's got some opinions on. We can talk about.
Yeah, tell us the story of that phone, dude.
Yeah,
and how it's better than the Fold 3.
Yeah, and how much you paid for it too?
Too much. But it's
calling him out.
It's it's an import, right? And they're not available, so they're not cheap. But this is the 512 12 gigabyte model, so it is like the highest one that they sell. But yeah, no, I ended up getting it on Swappa because I couldn't import it. All of my imports got canceled, every single one. And I seen a few other people.
What other phones were you trying to import?
The same one. Like I was trying to get the Oppo Find N from others. And for some reason, like they were getting canceled because the way it works is the importers buy them, and then they sell them, but they don't buy them until after you've like bought it from them. So like you give them money, they go and they buy it, they import it, and they sell it to you.
Oh wow, okay.
One thing I found out though is if you factory reset these, it deletes the Google Play Store because the importers actually are the ones installing the Google Play Store.
So you're telling me that they open the phone previous to you getting it and have to install it?
Yep, and they install the Google Play services, the store, and if you factory reset, it's all gone. You have to install it again.
Yep, they are expensive. But you know what? But
don't
you know what?
do GizTop. GizTop's the one who. So they canceled mine, and then you guys all know like Gary on Twitter, like he ordered one as well through GizTop, and I know he's been having issues getting his.
Contractor's point of view.
Yeah, and
he ordered one too.
Yeah, he ordered one from GizTop, and they
I kind of want to get him on here to talk about because he is an expert on the Fold. So
yeah, and so he had issues or whatever with getting his. I guess I seen it like on Twitter, and then mine like just kept getting canceled. Like I have no idea what was going on. I don't know if they couldn't get them. But yeah, like that's a lot of money, and so it popped up on Swappa the other day, and I bought it instantly. Like didn't even think about it, and it shipped. The guy shipped it to me next day. He bought it thinking it was going to work for Verizon, and of course it doesn't work for Verizon.
It's only a GSM phone.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it works on like I've
That's
used
how they get you.
and T-Mobile and stuff, and it works well. So.
I know OnePlus used to have was only GSM only, but you can use it at Verizon if you use the GSM bands. If you contact Verizon and use a non-CDMA GSM bands specifically for that SIM.
This is a good
so
point.
Well, that's why
this is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's
conspiracy theory.
So that's why
I wouldn't say that's conspiracy theory. I think that's
mine. I reset mine right out of the box, and then that's when I noticed like I had to reinstall all the APKs and stuff, which is fine because at least now I know like all my stuff's on there. And it updated like 4 times out of the box too. There's a bunch of updates.
I will say to that initial point, it's probably a good thing that you reset it anyway, because for that exact same reason, not only because they could have installed whatever on there, but they could have blocked updates that could have fixed security patches. And it's a good thing that you knew to do that, because had anyone else gotten the phone that didn't know to do that, I mean, there's no telling what someone could have gotten. So.
Well, the thing is too, is also somebody owned it before Drew, which is a little even more weird. So no, it's good that you reset it.
Well, I mean, I'm curious. Like, did they own it? Like, did they own it and use it for like a little while, or did they just buy it? They got it, they bought it, imported it, and opened it just to put that stuff on there. And then you had to like Michael Pepper said, you have to trust that they didn't put stuff on there. You would hope that somebody is trustworthy enough that they wouldn't do those things in order to have you maybe buy something again from them. But then again, you don't know. And then the average person buying an imported phone probably wouldn't know to do what Drew did. So that's probably a very good thing to do.
Even outside of that, you have to be careful getting like imported phones anyways, especially from like China, for example, because China actually doesn't allow third-party launchers. They block them from the device. So you're locked to whatever Chinese launcher it comes with, and who knows what's baked into that launcher.
Oh, that is very true. So, and then Michael Pepper says, I'm guessing it's easier to install the Play services on Hawaii or Huawei devices. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's like super easy. You just download, it installs instantly.
Yeah. It's very difficult to block APKs, because of the way, I mean, that's just kind of the way that Android, or that's the way that you install apps on there anyway. I mean, that's just how that's how third-party app stores work, and you wouldn't be able to install something without that third-party app store on there. So I'm sure
you can get rid of all the bloat, like all the like different apps. I got rid of all of them, like all the apps I have.
Are they all deletable?
That I use. Yeah, you can delete them all. So the
even
only
if they're not.
Is their app market, the Oppo app market.
You can probably.
Does it even work in the United States though? That's a good question.
Yeah,
it does. Okay,
Drew, you can probably disable that through ADB. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but that's actually how I disable. You can actually disable digital well-being on Pixel devices that way, which I personally recommend because it saves a ton of battery. For one, because digital being is constantly always.
Should we send him an invite so he can come in and talk about if he's got it? If
you're
free,
typing will be slow.
Hey, contractors POV, can you come on our show and talk about folds?
Typing will be slow.
Wait,
what
folds?
does that mean?
No, sorry, not folds. Foldables.
He could be driving or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably driving.
Please don't.
But yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend to like most people to try and import it.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Waffling Penguin says, not gonna lie, I really want to see someone manage to get Android 12L into a Find N. That'd be really interesting. And the second beta of 12L came out. So does anyone try it?
As your chief resident Android 12 connoisseur, I can safely say that I've been running beta 2 of Android 12L since day one, and it has been miles and miles better than Beta 1 has been, and even than the latest version of Android 12 has been. It's actually given me a little bit more battery life back.
That's good.
How did we know?
Yeah.
All right, so he said he can't come on driving voice to text. Well, if you do get to a point where you're able to get on, we'd definitely love to hear your opinion on the. Did he get his Find N yet? Or,
no,
okay.
he said he didn't get it yet.
Well, I definitely once you do get your Find N, if you want to come on and chat with us about it, we'd love to know what your thoughts are as the fold expert, because I know you've had every single one since the first one. So
this is the size comparison to the Flip.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. I still want to Flip 3, but I know you guys said the battery life is garbage on it. So
it is garbage. Don't buy it.
Fold? Do you have a Fold?
I don't have that around with me right now.
Oh, okay.
No.
You know what would be really interesting would be to see a battery case for a folding phone. I just can't even imagine what
do
kind
you
of
want to carry around.
No, actually,
no. I'm not saying I want to, but I just want to see. I just want to see what it would look like, because something like that, I can't imagine it looking good. I just don't see it.
You know that phone that Energizer came out with? That's what it would look like.
Yeah, there you go.
Did anyone actually buy that, or was that just a concept phone?
It was just a concept.
Concept.
Yeah, because I remember someone. I think Canoopsy retweeted that a while ago.
Okay, hold on. I thought it was an April Fool's joke.
No.
Was I just misremembering it?
It was an actual thing.
Real, yeah. Yesterday, thinking of battery, I did get almost 9 hours of screen on time.
Ian, your mic source is different again.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're echoing over there.
Stop using your phone.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
But Michael, speaking of battery, I did get 9 hours of screen on time on this.
9
hours of screen.
Yeah, I'm buying from you when you're done playing with it, Drew. I want it.
That's better than my 3A gets.
That's better than my Fold 3. My Fold 3 only gets like 4 hours tops.
And I
that's better. That's better than my budget single screen 4-year-old phone gets. Holy cow!
Software though, there's some issues. So
okay.
Oh, on the software side of the Oppo Find N?
Yeah, so it's not optimized. Obviously, it's not optimized for our apps here in North America. And here's how you can tell. So a lot of apps will open like this, where it's
ooh.
And
my Fold 3 does that too, though.
Yeah, the Z Fold 3 does it too, but most apps open like that. Even my email, I use Spark for email. Best Buy app.
So on the Fold, you can kind of adjust that. So is there no way to do that on this?
So you can do split screen, and you can zoom in on some apps, but not all. It's really inconsistent. But most apps, that's how they open. But again, I use the outside a lot. So
the thing is, this was an issue when the first Fold came out. So this phone's only been out for a few months. So I'm sure they're gonna launch it.
Are the stock apps good?
Yeah. I would say YouTube, all that stuff works really well.
Drew, do you have developer settings enabled on that phone?
Yeah.
Have you tried the resize option?
Yeah, that's what I did to resize most of the windows. Games, you have to if I want to play Call of Duty and I want to be able to play full screen, you have to go into dev options and change the orientations and stuff.
There's an option in there. There should be an option in there that says force full screen windows. I would try that, because most apps actually have that enabled on the back end. They just don't have it enabled by default, and so when you force them to, it will force a split screen layout.
Here's a fun one. So YouTube Studio, right? This is the only app that does this for me, at least. You open YouTube Studio, and it opens sideways. But wait, if you turn it, it doesn't change, right? But if I minimize it, it goes to normal.
What?
And if you so it's normal right now. But if I do the full screen, it's gonna go sideways.
It doesn't even know what phone it's on.
Even though it's still oriented properly and then changed.
Yep.
That's so crazy. Yeah,
that's the only
that is hilarious.
So software, still worth it? Is it still worth it?
I like it better than the Fold, because I can actually use the outside display.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, I feel like I feel like in that, like just in that specific scenario alone, I mean, all you have to do is just either use the outside display or just turn it. Like, I mean, like I feel like
thing is,
it's not enough of an issue to be an issue, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
My opinion on the Fold, right, is like everyone says like, oh, the outer display is useless. Like, there's no use for it. I never use it. But the thing is, I feel like the best like of both worlds would be the Z Flip. You know that little screen? That'd be perfect on the Fold because no one uses the outside screen ever, right? It's not the right size. I use it actually for navigation because I can't get a right, holder, like a car holder for it. That's the only reason why. But like, the only reason why it has this size screen is to just keep the aesthetics, nothing else. Yeah. So I'm really confused as to why Oppo decided to change the resolution of the entire phone just to like make that screen better. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Just to play devil's advocate a little bit here, my dad does use that outer screen more than he uses the inside screen.
But to be honest, when I had my Fold, it was the same. I don't know, Michael, if you use the outside display a lot, but I use the
outside screen on my Fold 2 and Fold 3 a bit. I used it when I like wasn't. I didn't like a full screen experience, right? Like if I'm like out and about, I don't need to open up my phone. And it seems
I open my phone literally everywhere though. Like if I'm in the grocery store and I need to look something up, yep, I open the phone up. I don't look it on the small screen because, like, my
especially
fingers
with the
are
Fold 3
big.
though, because they adapted 120 hertz to the front display now, so that makes it kind of more.
I still have no reason to use the temporary screen when I want to use the bigger.
Kyle likes the outer display too. So
I feel like
let me ask you this: what percentage would you say use the outer display versus the inner display?
5% to 95%.
Yeah.
5% front screen, 95% my screen is
one at a
open.
time.
Like literally, even if I don't only need to check like something for 5 seconds, I always open the display.
Okay.
Yeah, that exactly is what I'm talking about right there. Scrolling through Twitter and Instagram, the outer screen is perfect for that. The inner screen,
no, it isn't.
Dude, if you go on the inner screen, it's all like stretched.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say because like don't the photos like take up like the full width?
Yeah,
and then it like makes it so you have to scroll like this through the photo.
I need to buy
great
one.
Car phone
I saw
holder.
so many.
I liked his car phone holder he had for his. And then another guy I saw was using his iPad Mini as his navigation.
I saw an Uber driver use that too. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, is there iPad for their navigation?
Wait, do they like hard mount it in their car, or is it just like what?
It's small enough to where most phone mounts will be able to hold it if you put it in landscape.
They make iPad specific mounts.
That's true. But what I was going to say was if they're already used to doing it with their phone and then maybe they just decided to do it with their iPad, then it's probably easy enough for a regular mount to just be able to adapt to doing like a landscape iPad Mini.
Possibly, yeah. My thing is though, I feel like if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I don't really feel like it's necessary to have a tablet for your navigation needs. I mean, your phone's already doing it. I mean, the only reason I could see it being useful is if you have an older car that has no display or you don't care about covering what display it has in there and using that, because I mean, then in that use case it's perfect.
Honestly, some people might not know about Android Auto or CarPlay. I mean, they very well might just not know. And if it's easier for them to just pick up their iPad and say, "All right, I can use this," then
while I would love to agree that people don't. I do actually agree that people don't know. I mean, I had. When I was in Virginia seeing my uncle and aunt, my aunt literally couldn't get her Android Auto to work because she had it plugged in the wrong port.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I was sitting in the back seat and I said, okay, well, it should just automatically go on if you plug your phone in. And she's like, it's never worked. I don't know why. And then I said, where do you have it plugged in? And she had the car charger that goes in.
Okay.
I was like,
how do you send data through okay. Nice.
Listen,
people just don't know.
Yeah,
people just don't know. I mean,
I said,
you gotta remember.
That's how I charge it. She said that's how I charge it. I said if you plug it into your USB port in the car, it will charge it too, and it'll still.
But
work.
here's the thing. People are going to do what they already know, and if she knows that works, if it's tried and true and it works before, she's not going to go out of the way to look for something that she doesn't know is there.
Literally, what she was doing was she had a mount right next to her radio, and she would put the car on the mount and have the navigation there, and I was like. Hey, Janet, put it on the thing. Put it on your thing. You have a screen. It does the thing. And she's like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Speaking of that,
no,
this is why wireless CarPlay is the thing now.
I wasn't trying to be like, no, I wasn't trying to be like an old reference. I think it's just she didn't understand how it worked. It's
Speaking
okay.
of that,
not everyone's a techie. It's okay.
Android Auto does not work with this.
Ooh.
Well, then there's that.
So you have tried. So Drew, like, have you downloaded the Android Auto app?
It could just be as simple as, oh, nope, can't do it on this one.
So I have wireless Android Auto in my car, and I also tried with the USB, and both don't work at all. I can connect it to the car via Bluetooth, obviously, but I cannot get like Android Auto to work at all. So, and I've tried like Oppo actually has like a whole thread on their site to like troubleshoot, and it still doesn't work. I guess they just pushed an update, but they haven't been pushing all the same updates to the Find N because it's such a small market right now since it just came out in December.
Right.
You're gonna get all the updates late then. That's fun.
Yeah. So no Android Auto.
Better than no updates for certain phones.
NFC works, which is surprising because a lot of imported phones, NFC won't work here. I was able to use Android Pay at a few places yesterday with no problem. So at least that works.
Android Pay worked. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, one thing, talking about NFC just reminded me of this. You know, one thing I'm really excited to see is more companies adopt things like Matter, which is the new. It's an initiative by the bigger companies to create a centralized smart home standard. So that way you don't have to you don't have to know if your device supports HomeKit or if it supports, or if you have Google Home or if you have Alexa. You can just, it's one thing that supports everything, and then all the devices will just work with no matter what kind of smart home things you have. And so I feel like, because like with NFC, all the phones have adopted it now, and you can do like your payment stuff and stuff like that. And that's kind of what they're trying to bring to the smart home stuff, is trying to bring that one centralized way of connecting your smart home stuff, since it's becoming so popular now.
That would be beneficial. I mean, I've seen where some devices have like NFC built in, where you can, for example, like I have a smart speaker, or not, it's not a smart speaker, but I have a Bluetooth speaker that literally has an NFC logo on it, and if you have any other phone other than an iPhone, it'll work. I don't like how Apple restricts NFC to certain things. Like, you can, if you use the what is that
Shortcuts.
app you can use on there? Shortcuts. You can use shortcuts, but that's not like, easy tap it, it's done, it's there. Like, you still have to pair it like normal. But of course, if you have AirPods or something like that, of course it's gonna automatically pair. But yeah, I think that would be really nice if you could do that. And then a lot of times you see like these smart home devices are so convoluted, the way to set them up, because they're made by these really off-market Chinese companies, and they all need an app, and then they all need skills for your Amazon, or they need whatever for this to make it work. And you kind of wish that they were a little easier to do. I mean, you wonder if there's going to be some sort of smart home something from Google or Apple one of these days, and it's going to be super simple and easy, and you'll be able to use it through the app. And,
I have to say, Apple did just get kind of a bit of an open spot, a low foothold, because of the whole Google and Sonos thing. I don't know if you guys saw. I mean, I'm sure about the situation, but one thing that I did hear is that it's actually more difficult to set up a Google Home device now because of the lawsuit. They had to completely change how you set up the device for the first time, because initially it would prompt you to put it in a group. And you can't do that now. So, and I do have to say, I'm kind of glad that they're not forcing you to do that now, but I am going to miss having groups, because I did like being able to play my song via Bluetooth. If whatever app I was using doesn't support casting, I could just cast my Bluetooth to a group and then have it play throughout my room, rather than having to, pick whichever one's going to be loudest.
Yeah.
So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out, for specifically, smart home stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So Michael Pepper says there's no standard for it, like Qi and Wi-Fi have standards. Yeah. I mean, there's like,
and that's what the Matter initiative is to make a standard.
Yeah. There's a specific. I mean, there's a Wi-Fi standard that they use, that most of them use, isn't there? I can't remember. I learned this like when I was in school. There was like a specific standard, something like Z. It started with Z or something like that, and there was like a specific standard. It can support up to 200 something devices, and that's like the thing that they all use, or most of them use. I can't remember what it's.
I mean, Bluetooth can barely do that. So.
Yeah. Oh, it's called Z-Wave. Yeah, there's Z-Wave or Zigbee, and that's kind of what they all use. I can't remember all the details about this, but yeah. So most of them are like 2.4 gigahertz, and it's just different than Wi-Fi. So it's just a network. It's a network thing that they use. So it's a specific type of network that they use versus Wi-Fi.
Well, my guess is that it probably became so. It kind of reminds me of what Apple does is they create an ad hoc connection between the devices. So they create
it's like a mesh network.
Yeah,
it's like a mesh
and
network.
I think that's probably easier than trying to do something that's more, I guess, decentralized, because then you have to configure it for each device rather than, with this, you can just put them together and, they'll work. And so, but, kind of going back to the whole Matter thing, if all the companies can, come together and say, well, now we can have this one standard that, although we own it, we can license it to other, brand, smart home makers, and they can get their certification to work best with the devices.
The problem with all that, with them licensing anything, like if it's not free, they're not going to probably do it, because I'm sorry, like you guys know these companies are greedy. They want to just get stuff for free, and the only reason that a lot of things have done well, if they're like standardized, is if it's given away for free. I mean, you think about like seat belts, that's given away for free. Every car has a seatbelt now. But you think about like if they license it out, some people are not going to do it.
I do agree, and my counter to that is I think that would very much be the case. However, I do think that if Matter comes to fruition, the other standards, if you can even call it that right now, are going to go away, because they're not going to have any reason to keep them around. And so those devices aren't going to have any other option but to use Matter, because there won't be any other way to connect it to smart home devices. It will either be license Matter or don't have a way to connect to smart home devices.
Yeah. So, but I guess now you saying that, like, if they were to move to that, what would happen to existing devices? Is that something that all the devices are going to be able to use now, or is that something that would be in new devices from then on? Because then they're going to have to support both whatever they use now, which maybe is Z-Wave, Zigbee, Wi-Fi, whatever, and then they're going to have to change to Matter. So then you're going to have this kind of cluster of weird devices that may not be able to communicate with each other as they used to before.
My best guess is that there's either going... So Matter is still very much, from what I know, it's still in the early stages. Keep in mind they're trying to get rid of the USB port. So although they can have the made for I standard, it's going to be difficult to do that with wireless certification.
When we talk about MFI and Apple with MFI, one thing that really pisses me off about Apple with that is they do the MFI they do it for their chargers, which I've seen a lot of off-brand chargers use that. But one thing they do now too is the MagSafe certification too. And the problem with that is that literally every MagSafe charger that you find that is not a MagSafe certified one only charges at 7.5 watts, just like every other wireless charger. Yep. So the only way you can get 15 watts wirelessly is with a certified one. And Apple,
which costs way more.
It costs way more, and it's unnecessary. So now you got to spend. And my thing is this: like, Apple needs to realize that not everyone wants a 3-foot cord or less. They want something with 6 feet, because good God, I have it next to my bed and I can't move it more than 2 inches off my nightstand because it's so freaking short. Like, give me a 6-foot cord, Apple, or like certify that for less, because that's ridiculous. And there are such nice MagSafe chargers out there, but they're all 7.5 watts. And it's like, I want to charge my stuff fast. So if I'm already paying $70 for this beautiful MagSafe compatible charger, but you're only charging it at 7.5 watts, why would I not just spend like $20 less and just get the shitty Apple one? Like, okay, like, they need to figure that out, because that's something that really ticks me off.
Anyways, yeah. That I completely agree with that.
HomeKit enabled routers. That's a good question. That was supposed to help with security. HomeKit enabled routers. Well, like you said, using Raspberry Pi, you can use Homebrew and get things like that to work, right? You can do that.
I personally do that with my Apple Home stuff, because now that I have my Apple TV, I like being able to control it from up there.
But why did Apple get out of making routers? They were making who left?
Here's the thing.
Potato left.
Potato.
Potato left. Yeah, the Apple router. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like, they got out of the router game when they really should have stayed in. I mean, they worked. People love those things. People were still buying them, even though they're outdated and they were not even being made anymore.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I think that Apple left that market 1 second too early, because I personally think that they thought at the time that they were getting out of the business before the business completely died. Because at the time,
the business isn't going to die. It's not going to die. That's the
thing.
At
the time, though, it kind of plateaued, and I think that they thought that plateau was either going to lead to a downfall, or it was just going to keep plateauing, and they wanted to get off of that, out of the router business before before it was going to get any worse.
Well, I mean, I think that I don't know. I mean, Apple can be a little like Google when they just get out of something they don't want to do anymore, and that kind of just is annoying. Like the airport experience,
air power.
Oh yeah, well. And what do we get? What do we get? We got the MagSafe Duo, whatever that thing is. That thing is garbage. Anyway, and overpriced. But like, if Apple were to do routers, I think they could have done a mesh router just like Google did with their Google Wi-Fi, and they could have done it seamlessly. And so many people have a lot of Apple products in their house that it still would have worked really, really well. And then on top of that, having HomeKit built into it, people would spend the money.
Well,
just
to be honest,
I just would pee herself. Like, I mean,
people,
there's just
but people spend the money on Apple, but they like.
Well, I would 100% spend $1,000 on a stainless steel Apple router.
I wish,
and that's the thing too. You wouldn't hide that thing because it was an Apple router. You wouldn't hide it somewhere.
You know what? It would be on my wall. It would be a stainless steel like bowling ball almost, and you'd have to get a separate stand just to keep it.
It would have bands in it, and it would get terrible reception, but we'd still buy it. We wouldn't care.
And Apple would say, no, you're just playing it wrong. You just have to. We'll push a software update so that way the bands look higher.
I thought they would do home security too. Like, I wish they'd do home security.
Oh yeah. So Waffling Penguin said, "Oh, this is a little off topic. I wonder how many people would react to an Apple made security." I don't know. Here's the thing though, security systems.
Get it. Because that's the only reason I have like Nest and all the Google, like I have Google's Wi-Fi system and all that because it works so well. Now,
if it worked with everything, like, and that's the thing. This goes back to this kind of whole ecosystem with the router, having the HomePod, having the security system, having all the home devices going around there. It could all work together really, really well.
The thing is that blows my mind is that Apple already knows how well this works because they have devices that support all this stuff. Yes. They're not their own devices; they're third-party companies, and they're licensing it. But it integrates seamlessly. You can ask your Apple TV, "Hey, show me my Ring doorbell feed," and it will do it.
Imagine if they had their own doorbell; they could have their own doorbell.
See,
hey,
the problem
Siri,
is
if
they ended up making their own accessories like this, they'd get like. Wait, hold on 1 second.
Well, I was going to say.
I feel like they could get in legal trouble very quickly.
Imagine the services that they'd be able to charge for, because that's what Apple is mainly making money on nowadays is services. Mm-hmm. So you have home security services, smart home services, whatever. They could integrate that into Apple One, and you have everything all together. And then imagine you have an Apple doorbell or Apple camera, and then it's using iCloud to store the videos. And suddenly, you can watch it on your Apple TV.
And suddenly your house turns into the shape of an apple.
But wait, so the cool thing about Apple, though, that I actually really like, if you buy their cameras that they do sell, because they do sell security cameras on their site. They're just not Apple. They're like another brand. But if you buy those, the cool thing is all the recording does go to your iCloud account, and it's like
that's what I'm saying.
Extra. Like, you're not paying extra. You actually get 2 to 4 cameras included in your iCloud depending on your plan, and there's no extra charge. So I really like that. But the cameras don't work as well. Like in the Home app, I hate Apple's Home app compared to Google's Home app.
Yeah,
that's
Google's
why
Home
I
app is
moved,
pretty well done, I'd say.
that's why I moved
except for
everything to
settings.
Google. Yeah.
But
And then
I won't go on there.
yeah, and this is a good point with that. What Michael Pepper said. So might as well buy the stands where you place the Apple's MagSafe puck. The problem I have with it is just the length of it is trash. It's so short. You can't do shit with it. But that's why a lot of manufacturers just make they make stands for them, because you just put it in there and it's like, it's beautiful because it's MagSafe. But on the subject of Belkin, Belkin is one of the manufacturers I know that does make certified MagSafe chargers. They just cost too much. That's the problem. Apple wants their licensing fees, and who gets screwed? We do. We get screwed because they get the licensing fees. But then again, if you buy the Belkin, you do get the full speed. Yeah, Apple would find them. Yeah, they would if they could. And this is also a good thing. So like, imagine signing with your iCloud on an Apple router and all your devices connect. Use the built-in password sharing. Amazing.
Can you pull up that comment from Waffling Penguin?
Which one? Which one? The most recent one?
No, the one before it.
The Apple Pay on this one?
No, the next one from Waffling Penguin. That one.
Oh,
so okay. I read this. I want to touch on this real quick. So okay. I said earlier that I feel like they could get in a lot of legal trouble for doing the router thing. I'm not saying because of security. I think that their security would be fine. I think, honestly, I think of all the big companies to trust with your data, Apple is the one. I'm not saying that any of them are good, and I'm not saying that any of them are perfect, but I think that Apple is the one to trust. However, I don't think they would get in trouble with security. I think they would get in legal trouble with more monopoly stuff, because we all know that when Apple enters a market, people are going to go for it because it's Apple. That's just how it works. And I feel like if Apple goes into this, the security, the home security market, it's going to tie in so well, and you're going to be secure with Apple and this, that, and the other. And enough people are going to switch to that it's going to kill all the other businesses. And
well, you have to remember too, the other issue is, even though Apple would be pretty secure, I think, in comparison to a lot, you have to look at examples like Private Relay, where you have to worry about your provider, because your provider could still disable those settings, just like T-Mobile and other carriers have been doing with Private Relay. So I could see that happening with your router, where if you have like Xfinity, Xfinity's still taking all that data and selling it regardless.
On that subject, I really feel like carriers and ISPs do have way too much pull with a lot of things. And I think that we were fortunate that Steve Jobs had the stance he did when the iPhone first came out, that said, we're not going to allow advertising, or we're not going to allow any of this shit on our phones. And if that had not happened, iPhones would have been garbage, because they would have had malware and shit all over them, and then they would have controlled the updates. So Apple is the only one I know of that can, Google obviously does with their Pixels, but every carrier device, every device on a carrier, we're like subjected to carriers bullshit. It's so dumb. We shouldn't be beholden to the people that are just a service provider.
And it's not even just the phones that are suffering. Just remember, the Samsung TVs that have all those ads, and friggin' the Samsung smart fridges that have all of those ads. It's just ridiculous. The landscape that we live in right now with advertising is makes me disappointed to be in the advertising industry.
If things have I thought things have gotten a little bit better, but like Drew said, like the Private Relay stuff, they can block network side. They can just stop. They can make it not work. And I think Apple's relinquished a little bit of control to carriers, and they accept it and just let it happen. And it's really annoying. I wish they would just stand their ground and be like, hey, don't mess with any of our services on our phones. This is something beneficial, but it's to do with ad money. That's all they care about. It's all greed. It's all money. It's all they want. And on top of that, that goes to bloatware and stuff like that. You say it makes your phone cheaper to have this bloatware on my phone, and then I can't even delete it. It's on my phone permanently. I can't delete it unless I flash my phone with a different image. That's my phone. I paid $1,000 whatever for this phone. I should be able to delete any app I have on my phone if I want to. That is not your device. And then if I pay it off and unlock it, I'm not beholden to you anymore. Why can't I still not delete the programs that you put on my phone that I didn't ask for? Like,
and to piggyback off of that,
yeah,
if I have paid off my phone, don't give me a time period in which I have to unlock it before you no longer provide that service to me. Because again, I paid for that phone. Motorola is guilty of this. They give you a 6-month period for a while. I don't know if they still do this, but for the Moto G6 or G8 Plus, they gave you a 6-month period after you paid off the phone to unlock the phone.
Yeah.
Or you couldn't unlock it anymore. If you didn't get it within that 6-month period, you can't unlock it anymore.
But I think this whole thing that we're talking about is kind of net neutrality stuff too.
Oh yeah.
And ever since they kind of got rid of all that, like it's just the Wild West out there. And I mean, net neutrality did help when we had that in place. I think that helped a lot with a lot of things. And now that's gone, there's no, carriers, ISPs, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. They're, they can control whatever they want. That is unfortunate. That is a dumb thing. What you just said, that is absolutely stupid. But also, like I have that Boost mobile phone that I made a video on, and that still gets views. I bought this. It was a Moto E 2020. Anyway, that one, if you don't activate it with Boost Mobile, you cannot use it at all. Wi-Fi doesn't work. Everything's disabled. And then people were like, "Oh, just reset it. It'll work." Yeah, you reset it, but then it comes back again. It comes right back again. So this phone that you got a discount on, you can't use unless you activate it. And my concern with that was, okay, so what? You buy the prepaid phone, you actually activate it. Unlike me, I'm not going to activate it because I'm reviewing phone, whatever. But like you activate it, use it for a little while, you stop paying for it. You don't get there in time for the unlock period to unlock the phone. So what exactly happens after you stop paying for the service?
Right. Does it become a time bomb?
Yeah. Is it going to then come up with that little thing telling me?
You know what though? I here's the thing. That's not going to become an issue because we did this 10 years ago with mobile phone contracts, and we eliminated that because it didn't work.
They're coming back, and you know why they're coming back? Because they're doing these 24-month, 36-month, whatever agreements to pay off your phone. Instead of it being what it was before, where it was $200 and you had a phone for 2 years and then you upgraded after 2 years. Now it's pay this finance fee over 2 years or lease it for 2 years, and then hey, turn it back in and get another phone. It's the same shit in a different package. That's all it is.
I hate to sound naive, but I feel like people might know a little better now because of what happened in the past.
No, but you got to think there's a whole new generation that's buying phones now that didn't buy phones then. And you are getting screwed on this stuff. So like, and then also like, if you lease a phone too, like I personally don't keep my phone that long. I keep it for a year to get the new iPhone, but I was doing the jump on demand thing. I was, changing it out every couple months. But if you keep your phone for the full 18 months, which is usually what the lease is, and then you turn it in, you lost a whole phone. You spent $700-800 on a phone you're not even going to keep. And then you're going to turn it in, they're going to give you, they're not going to give you anything. They're not going to give you shit. You just paid for a phone that they're going to resell and make money back on. There's no point. You're better off financing a phone, paying it off, unlocking it, and selling it on your own than you are even trading that phone in. Unless they give you $800 to $1,000 for that phone at trade-in, like T-Mobile is doing during Black Friday, you're getting screwed. You're getting completely screwed.
If we live streamed on Twitch, I would have someone clip that because we need to repost exactly what you just said everywhere on the internet. That is so true. And so many people are naive to that fact that there are people that are getting screwed out of hundreds of thousands of dollars because they just don't know any better.
Yeah.
They think that it's better in the long run, and that, Jesus Christ, I'm trying to plug in my battery and it's not. Can't find the port. You know when you're fiddling on the wall and you can't quite find the outlet and you think you found it and you go to do it and it's not there.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, where
did our friend go? Did he not want to come back? He just left and didn't come back.
I don't know where he's at.
We got talking about carriers too much and they pulled his Wi-Fi.
He was over it. He was over it. But
no, I was saying his carrier pulled his connection. He doesn't have a connection.
Yeah. And you know what's weird is it's before when we had contracts, what they did was they basically had, $200 up front, and then you have like a $500 phone, and they would implement the yes, exactly.
Yes,
And they would include the cost of the phone inside the plan, and then you couldn't leave for 2 years. Now you can leave. You can go to another carrier, and they'll probably pay you to come to them. But the thing is, like, the cost of plans is really still high.
Here's the reason why I think that it's not going to be as bad as it was, though, is because
this is a good way to go. That's a good way. Justin says I only get phones I can afford in cash. Contracts are just chaos, and a lot of people are smart enough to do this. But I personally, I gotta say, I noticed the difference between prepaid and postpaid, and you do get better priority as far as data and stuff is concerned when you do get postpaid. And some people know how to do the deals, like Mr. Drew Lips over here. He knows how to get some deals out of these people. So, I'm sorry, Adam, go ahead.
So, although I can see, that being an issue, the thing is that, the reason why we got rid of that kind of stuff in the first place was because of Apple. And, because it was Steve Jobs that was like, this is completely stupid. We shouldn't be doing this. This is ripping off our customers, which is an ironic stance, on Apple's part, especially today, and, knowing what we know now with right to repair and everything. But, it should be interesting to see, if history just completely repeats itself or if it does it differently, because, with Apple being the way that they are, I just don't see them letting it happen. If not again, at least not in the same way.
I wonder if they go back to, so when Steve Jobs did that, one of the things that Steve Jobs really pushed for was if the carriers weren't going to work for them, they were just going to build their own. So imagine if they just released their own network. And they certainly have the money to do so. They could buy, some network and quickly push it out.
Yeah.
You like Mint Mobile?
Well, my thing is if you think that they could get an MVNO and actually it be so a MVNO is basically what any prepaid carrier is. They are non-priority. They are just leasing the carrier. So basically any prepaid carrier, that's what they're doing. The only ones that are probably going to get the best service are going to be the ones that are like first party at MVNO, where it's like T-Mobile prepaid, not even Mint Mobile, because that's not even really them, but T-Mobile prepaid, Metro PCS, or Metro by T-Mobile, whatever the hell they call themselves now. And then, for example, like now, since Verizon owns TracFone, Verizon can give more priority to any of those TracFone brands because it's going to be on their network. And that's another thing that's going to be kind of interesting to see is how is TracFone now going to handle all their brands, because they have multiple brands and they're all spread out on different carriers. And TracFone obviously had agreements with all these carriers for different phones, different plans, all that stuff. But Verizon now has the reins, and they have the reins, and so they can do whatever they want. They could. You know
what I should do. So I know someone that is in this industry because they've been in this industry for 15 years, and that's my father. And I should try to get him to give his insight on this, because I would love to hear what he has to say about this, because he's been working for Verizon, like I said, for 15 years. So I'll bet that he has at least some insight.
Since you have Verizon now, one thing I've been hearing is people have been complaining about their service lately, that their service has gone down. Like, it's not as good as it was.
I have heard that. I haven't experienced that, but I have heard that. The thing is, I think that that's a FiOS thing. I'm not positive, but I think that that's a FiOS thing. And it's kind of, as ironic as it is, my dad installs FiOS every single day in homes. We don't have FiOS because our specific area just doesn't have FiOS. So that's the irony in that, is that my dad sells FiOS, but he doesn't have it himself.
Yeah. So he could have gotten it for free since he works for them. But oh well.
Yeah, but because it's not in our area, they just shrug their shoulders because it's Verizon.
Now going back to like net neutrality and stuff, I think that also it would help with getting more actual different ISPs in the game because you are stuck with these garbage ISPs like Comcast and Spectrum and AT&T and all these people that have these agreements to only be in certain places and certain things are able to be there. Meanwhile, in other countries, they have public utilities. That's what it should be considered. It's a public utility, just like electricity. Everyone has internet. Everyone needs internet. And I don't know why this country is so behind in every single thing. It just annoys the shit out of me. We're in are we supposed to be in the best country in the world, but we can't get public internet for everybody?
And
that blows me.
Let me just clarify real quick, just because I know that this could come up eventually, but back to just real quick what I was saying about the Verizon thing and the FiOS thing. This is not a new thing. This is not something I'm just now complaining about. I remember the first time I remember it becoming an issue for us was back in 2017 when I was trading in my Galaxy S6 to get my first brand new phone, which was at the time an iPhone 10, my all-time favorite phone. I remember at that time we had the option to get it for cheaper if we had FiOS, but we were not allowed to have FiOS, so we literally could not get that deal because we didn't have FiOS. This is not a new thing. This is not something I'm just discovering and just complaining about. This has been a thing for a while.
Yeah,
and
Morse code, but it's really sad though because we could have so much more choice in our country if we actually had, like Drew said, we need Starlink. I think Starlink is definitely going to help once they get it off the ground, but it seems like everything that Tesla does is in beta. Get it out of beta, get it out to people. If you really want it to work, get it out there because it seems like it does a pretty good job. But Apple
can't get things out soon enough.
No. But my thing is Comcast, AT&T, all these people have agreements to be in certain areas, and they can always just do certain things. AT&T has fiber, but it's only in certain areas of the city. Even though it takes them, when they laid the fiber in my neighborhood, it did not take them that long. It took them less than a week to lay the fiber in my entire neighborhood. And as soon as my contract with Comcast ended, I called them and was like, "Hey, bring me fiber." And fiber is the way to go. Not many people can get fiber. It's still not a thing. You remember Google was gonna do fiber? What happened to that? Oh, these competitive clauses these fucking companies have keep them from doing anything. Yeah. Google could have had fiber across this country already, but no.
But you could have done it, but
it was going to be here in Jacksonville. It was going to be here in my city, and they stopped doing it because of Comcast and AT&T. That's why.
And the most annoying thing about it,
service in your area by mid-2000.
And the crazy thing about it is that they could totally do it, but you know what? They can't put their fiber on a land that already has fiber on it. But then they also can't put it on land that doesn't have fiber on it because they still own that land. It's so annoying.
There's gotta be a way to do it where it's the lines are shared or something is shared so that you're not digging 3 or 4 different holes or different trenches for all these different services. I have a Comcast pole in front of my house that I don't use because I don't have their service.
I think it should be the consumer's choice. Because if the consumer wants to use Google Fiber, that is hilarious. I saw that a minute ago. I think that if the consumer wants to use FiOS, that they should have the option to use FiOS, especially if Verizon is offering discounts for having FiOS, but they can't give us or they won't give us FiOS. Yep. It's like inverse hypocritical. It's I don't know. It's so completely backwards and messed up. And
you have carriers like T-Mobile offering 5G home internet also. You know what I mean? You're going to see, I think that expanded as well. And it's not widely available either.
I remember when we switched off of Verizon cable because of how bad it was. We switched to DirecTV in 2008 or something. And now who's DirecTV owned by?
Yeah. And then on top of that, just to piggyback on the whole DirecTV thing, have you guys noticed that now we have internet-based TV and how expensive it's gotten? It is insane to me. I mean, I know this is also a product of like inflation and shit going on in the world. But like,
and plus, I don't know how many people still pay for cable, but I mean, that's
unfortunately, I do because my mom needs to have cable because that's what she does.
And I mean, we still pay for cable too. I mean, and I'm not like ragging on you or anything. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, and I'm not the only person. I mean, I'm not the only person my age that still pays for cable. I mean, there are some people that pay for cable and all the streaming services in addition to that. But my thing is, it's so expensive.
Can't hit the dish when it's on top of my house.
Yeah. Well, I don't have DirecTV, but like internet. This is DirecTV Stream. It runs off the internet, and it's still $150 a month for a plan. That's insane.
When you can pay that much for all of the streaming services that are out right now, like, come on.
Yeah, but I mean, and then you think about it, and then like, see Drew, if it was up to me, I would not be paying for any of this cable at all. I would not pay for this cable. I would just pay for. But I mean, I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus, I have Hulu, I had Showtime, I have HBO Max. All those things add up a little bit, you know. And then Netflix just raised their price $2. So if you want the top tier plan with 4K and 4 streams, that's $20 a month. Then you got, you got HBO Max, which is $15 a month. You've got, all these other things, and it probably equals up to about $60-$70 a month if you do just the major ones. And then God forbid if you want Disney Plus with the ESPN or with the movie releases that come out, you got to pay $30 a month for that. So I mean, they're making their money off of us, and we're going from, it is insane to watch, but like, we're going from the days where we paid for cable. You remember, so the purpose of cable before was to have ad-free TV, and you would pay for ad-free TV and you have a bunch of channels. Then they decided to put ads in it. They had to start paying for it. So you still have ads, you're paying for it. Then they said, all right, streaming services are going to start coming in. They weren't like going crazy because obviously not everybody had high-speed internet at the time, like Netflix and all of them started streaming. Mm-hmm. But now the streaming services are the thing that people were wanting. So then they're going to add more crap to that. And then, like, it's funny to watch all the different companies come up with streaming services. $5 here, $10 there, $15 here. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have bundles of streaming services. Just watch. They're going to have bundles of them. Oh, get the streaming bundle, Netflix, Hulu, all this other shit all together in one little package. And you can get that for a certain price a month. And then there's going to be no more cable. It's just going to be all streaming services.
And I have to, and I tell you what, here's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but I feel bad for Google because they tried to do the right thing. You have to remember, Google doesn't currently have a streaming service other than maybe YouTube, like I guess like the YouTube Live, YouTube TV, whatever. But what I was going to say was, Google tried to work with all of these companies to make one centralized place where you could get all of the streaming services in one place, but they literally got slapped in the face by every single one of these companies saying, why would we do that when we can charge more, to get more money from the customer, even though would be more beneficial for the customer. Anyways, we have gone on a tangent from one thing to another, but one thing I just wanted to bring up really, really quickly before we kind of close out here, because we are kind of getting towards the end. Something that happened this week that I wanted to bring up on stream was that I actually, I'm in the works of getting a sponsorship on my Twitter account with a company who makes a specific piece of software for Mac. I can't go into the full details yet because not everything is finalized, but we're pretty much in the final stages. It's kind of like it's kind of like I just have to write my name on the paper. Like that's pretty much all it is. But I just kind of wanted to bring up that I am getting my first sponsor, which is big, and I wanted to share that with my video nerd friends. So that was, since we kind of got right into things right at the beginning, I'm getting my very first sponsor. So that's kind of cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So, that's awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of
bring it up. Any sort of sponsor this year for my channel. I have not gotten one sponsor for my channel. Meanwhile, there are other channels that are nearly like my size. They've gotten multiple sponsorships, and I know my videos are garbage, but anybody want to sponsor me?
I think it would be really cool if we started doing streams on Twitch too. I think.
Well, I mean, if StreamYard works for that, if StreamYard actually works for that and lets me stream on Twitch, we can start streaming on Twitch. If you think that would, if there's an audience for it, then I'm down.
I would love to see what the YouTube comments think. I don't know how many people are still watching, but I would love to see if you guys would be interested in that. Because
sorry, not our Michael.
If our audiences, if our current YouTube audience is at all interested in that, I'll definitely look into it, and we'll kind of go over stuff about that, because I would love to kind of head that up, because I love working on and with Twitch. So
yeah, definitely, that'd be really cool. I personally don't have much experience with Twitch, but if you think that it would be a good way to expand our audience, and then I'm down for that too. So that works for me. Well, hello. We're about to log off in just a second here, but I'm glad to see you here. But yeah, so I think we're coming up to the end here. Did Potato and Michael have anything to say? I mean, Michael, I think are you eating another steak over there? He's awfully quiet. He's been awfully quiet, and Potato is awfully quiet too. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, look at that. We have a sponsor.
Look at that. Yay, round of applause for our sponsor. Yeah.
Right. I now have to Venmo or Cash App $1 to each of you. However, I do charge a fee of 25 cents.
I charge a fee of 99 cents. And
DoorDash and fries.
DoorDash.
Right,
oh, God. I watch on Twitch just for YouTube since I already logged in and stuff. Okay. Well,
I think that because of the viewership, not the viewership, but I feel like it would. Anyways, we'll get into the behind the scenes stuff after the show. But that would be another thing that I would really like to do is to bring it to Twitch, because then we could kind of do more. We could do other stuff as well. So that is one thing I wanted to kind of bring it with the audiences, see if you guys wanted to if you would be interested in bringing it to Twitch. But that is one thing we'll look into.
I'm definitely.
But otherwise, anyone else have anything to add? Yeah, because I think on that note, we're just about done. So if you guys have any questions for us, of course, leave them in the comments. We'll, of course, we'll be down there, and we'll be over on Twitter. If you have any questions for us after the stream that you maybe want us to bring up next week, be sure to leave that. Windows on tablets, that's one thing we can definitely talk about.
Yeah, we could definitely. You know what, and we'll definitely touch on that subject next week if you guys want to. So
I would love to. Yeah.
Whether it's on Twitch or YouTube, I'll be around more often. I appreciate that. So I appreciate your comments tonight, guys, and thank you so much for joining us. And definitely want to hear more about this. I definitely want to hear more about this Find N, the Oppo Find N. So Drew, we need to hear your input. So put your SIM card in that bitch and let's go.
It is, and that video is coming soon.
All right,
awesome. Stay tuned for that.
Good. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining all of us for episode 23. We didn't have a topic, but I think we went off, and I think I went off a little tangent on a couple things. So sorry in advance, or sorry for that.
I did too. It's okay.
Yeah, we went a little crazy here. Maybe I should start doing those talking videos where I go on rants. Would I get views for that? Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, guys, appreciate you all joining us. We have our friend Adam here, Drew over here, Potatoes down there, and Michael might be eating another T-bone steak. Who knows? He does have T-bone money. Anyway, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. Have a good night, everybody.